to the next level.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, Editor-in-Chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Today is Mental Monday, y'all, and we are focusing on eating to really get that clarity, right? Because right now, some people are just eating just to eat, right? So I'm going to dig in. We're taking center stage on the Own It magazine and publishing platform with some of our amazing contributing writers. I'm going to go ahead and bring them on in. Hey, good morning, Teresa.
Good morning.
Hello, Audrey. Oh, we've got Miss Janice in the house. And also we have, let me scroll down here. We got a full house today. We also have Coach Felicia in the house as well. Welcome, ladies, today for our Mental Monday conversation surrounding eating. And we're going to just really dive on in. So before we do, I want to go ahead and go around the room real quickly. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and just a little bit about what you do. So we'll start with you, Teresa.
Welcome everyone who's watching and who will be watching the replay. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Teresa Palmer. I'm a nurse practitioner, or advanced practice nurse as it's called. And I like to say I'm the nurse who connects people to their heart. And by that, I mean I connect people to self-awareness so that they could have self-care. And when they could have self-care, they have better health. So I think this topic is so important. I'm a holistic cardiology nurse practitioner, and I bridge the gap. I incorporate a lot of the Eastern traditions, Eastern medicine, Eastern philosophy with traditional Western medical care to give people the information and the tools that they need to be empowered and to really help themselves. Because it doesn't matter what subject we're talking about, empowerment, self-empowerment is the first key to any success.
Absolutely. Thanks, Teresa. Audrey, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Audrey Link, and I'm in Canada. It's nice and warm here finally. I am an aromatherapist, nutritionist, Ikigai mentor, and this topic is actually really awesome. I'm really loving it because there's a lot of things that we need in our bodies that can keep us healthy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Audrey. All right, Janice.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Janice Riggett. I'm from Alberta, Canada. I'm a nutraceutical specialist for glutathione products and phytoplankton products. I recently, in 2022, realized how important life actually was. It wasn't nothing that I had done. It was what others had done to me until I finally had an awakening when I started watching TikTok. And with the influencers on there, I finally got onto some products that actually help to detox your body, give you the performance that you need, and helps to feed your body. And then when you start to realize and your mental health starts to change, you actually wake up and smell the coffee. Thank you.
Love it. Thanks, Janice. All right, Felicia.
Hey there, my name is Felicia Pelto. I am in the United States, Michigan, and I am a weight loss and hormone health coach, helping women release the guilt, shame, and frustration around weight loss and hormone balancing so that they can live free as a feather.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Welcome. So today's topic, eating for energy and focus, right? Because there's certain things that we eat and we just don't feel right. I mean, our mind's foggy and all that stuff. So how does nutrition affect our mental health and our cognitive functions? We're going to start with you, Teresa.
Okay. I think number one, nutrition is very important. And I'll say up front, I have absolutely no products that I sell. So everything I talk about is helping people help themselves where they don't have to go out and buy things. But I think number one with nutrition is you have to find what's right for you. There's no specific diet that's right for everybody. There's no specific foods that are right for everybody. I think it's up to the individual to decide how they want to eat. When we talk about a lot of things like brain fog and all, a lot of that's emotional. A lot of that doesn't always have to do with nutrition. It has to do with how we're feeling emotionally and also how we're feeling spiritually because it's a lack of focus. And there's different things. If you're in touch with yourself and you're in touch with your feelings, then your brain fog can clear. A lot of what we call brain fog is just lack of concentration. Yes, there are certain medical conditions that can cause brain fog, but then you need to be evaluated by the proper provider and given proper instructions then on how to treat it. I think we just globally lump everything into, oh, this causes brain fog, this does this does that. Yes, there are foods that if you're sensitive to them, can cause you problems, can cause you allergies, can just cause you stomach distress. And what I tell my patients is a lot of times that if you know that you have a stomach problem, you have a choice. If you want to eat the spicy hot food and get GERD, reflux from it, be my guest. You know what you're getting yourself into. If you want to get to the root of the problem, you don't take Tums, you don't take Prilosec or anything. What you do is you stop eating those foods. But unfortunately, we like a quick fix. We don't like to do the work because it's hard. And nutrition, weight loss is not easy. As
Right.
someone who's been through it, it's a journey. It's not something that happens like that. There's no magic out there. So I'm not saying that certain things don't help, whether they be medications, whether they be supplements, whether they be over the counter. But I think a lot of times we depend too much on those outside things rather than what we can do for ourselves.
Thanks, Teresa. Audrey, how does nutrition affect our mental health and our cognitive function?
Well, it affects everything. Our food, what we put in our body affects everything. And whether so nowadays, and I have my own garden, so I know where my food comes from. And my food is getting a little slim right now because I'm needed to plant my garden again. But when I go to a store and I look at the food we're eating in the stores, that they're chemically sprayed, they're, you don't know where they come from, and the nutritional value of them has lowered so much. So we like the vitamin, mineral, and antioxidant that we need in our food isn't there anymore. One of the studies was that you have a peach and you eat a peach. 10 years ago, you could eat one peach and get the nutritional value you needed out of it. And now you have to eat 3 or 4 of them to get the same nutritional value. So my take on nutrition and how it affects the cognitive is you need to supplement. You need to supplement with something that has the nutritional content. You have to do your research, right? And of course, what works for, you, Tiffany, what works for Janice may not work for me, right? So we do have to find what works for us. And for me, my own garden, and even in the city, grow some tomatoes, grow some cucumbers, right? Just throw them in a pot and grow them. You can grow potatoes in a pot, right? So it's watching what we put in our bodies. Just going to the store and saying, oh, that's what I'm going to, do. I'm in a community where we look at where our food comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our meat, that's my vegetables, all of that. That's the eggs, everything. We watch, and because it does affect mental health so much.
Right, right. And I think, you hit it, I think, really with the chemicals that are on all of the things, right? I think that's really what's affecting our mental health and our cognitive function more than anything else, is having these things that now our bodies have to detox that out so we can function properly. And I think that's where, as you said, like supplementing, you can even supplement herbs and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of herbalists out there that will tell you, you've got so many different things, different barks and leaves and different things that you can put in teas and
Ayurvedic practitioner too.
right? Yeah, yes. So that can help with that mental health and cognitive function. So I just love that. We're gonna go ahead and come down to you, Janice. So how does nutrition, in your eyes, how does nutrition affect our mental health and cognitive function?
Well, what I've gone through for 34 years, just let that be known. It wasn't because of me, but what I've learned is that you need to detox your brain, because everything you put in your gut comes through your brain. It forms your brain. It makes you do what you do. It's like paying taxes. Can't get away with it. You have to deal with it, right? I agree with you, Audrey, with the food, growing your own gardens. But unfortunately, and way too much in Canada, we've got things called chemtrails. Those chemtrails are actually dropping metals and whatever else they're doing, right? That's getting right into our dirt, getting right into our gardens. That's why I never grew last year or this year, because my gardens are contaminated. I need to find something that can, unless I dome it, right? And bring in some fresh stuff to start to regrow it, because nutrition is key. If you don't have the nutrition in your system, if you don't detox your brain, your body doesn't perform. And I am living proof of that, because when I got hurt, the doctors had me on everything under the sun for medication. I couldn't eat. I couldn't function. I couldn't think for myself until I found what I'm currently doing right now. And just the last 2 months, I've started a complete nutrition, and it's algae out of the sea, and it's called phytoplankton. It's pure nutrition. And that alone has actually just opened my brain cells and made me function. I mean, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, you wouldn't see me online. I would be hiding under my blankets because I was so embarrassed of what they did to me, until I finally realized and got myself some glutathione, which is a natural component to the body. And what I used to supplement with to start with is Swish 30. It's a PRP program here in Canada. Personal in the United States is called NUI. And if it wasn't for that to start with, I wouldn't be here. And our foods today, we can't rely on the grocery stores. In fact, since all this tariffs have come down, so as our grocery stores have gone rock bottom, because I can buy exactly the same thing I bought 6 months ago, and when I go to bring it home, it doesn't even last a week rather. So nutrition is very, very fragile. And if you want pure nutrition, I can set you up, because that's what we need. And then we just kind of survive on the foods to get into the system.
Absolutely. Thanks, Janice. Felicia, what's your take? How does our nutrition affect our mental health and cognitive function?
Well, similar to Janice, I would say, from experience, having lost several people in my life, my mother, my father, my sister, people during COVID, pre-COVID, dealing with depression, as well as having a child, right? Like all these things deplete our cognitive function at some point because of emotional responses, Teresa said. But also, if I wasn't properly nourished, I noticed that I had a hard time working through those emotions.
Mhm.
So one thing I had noticed right away when I was dealing with the depression of my mom was just getting a good multivitamin. Just that alone helped me kind of regulate.
Right.
And then, you know, as Janice kind of talked about, you got to detox, you got to go through certain things.
Right.
And you guys see me doing my shake. I'm actually doing a natural kind of herbs, sort of detox, because I very much believe in, no drugs, no pharmaceuticals, trying to do it as natural as possible. Because at the end of the day, if, if stuff hit the fan, I'll say,
Yeah.
right. I always think of that, like having the resources to do it on your own, having that natural ancient wisdom to make yourself healthy again. And so that's what I've been working towards. So yeah,
Love it. Love
huge.
it. Alicia, thank you. So we've talked a little bit about, some of the small, but powerful, dietary changes that can be a big impact for our overall health. Teresa, what are some like small dietary changes that you have made in your life that has really made a big impact on your overall health?
Well, I think one thing is our body is in balance and our body knows how to detoxify. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't detoxify, but as a nurse practitioner, I've seen a lot of people run into problems, even with things that they thought would detoxify their liver, herbs, all these things. I know people talk about go natural, don't take medications, but some of these natural things, they're not really any different than medications are. They just come from a different source. So I think that's something that we really have to be cognitive of and making small changes. Eat when you're hungry. A lot of times we eat because it's emotional eating, or the clock says that it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever time. I would say eat what you want, because if you deprive your brain has a function, and it's a primitive function, but it's there. That your body, if you tell your brain that you don't want something, you're going to want it more. So if you deprive yourself of a cookie, some ice cream, trust me, you're not going to rest until you have it. And that's where I think we make a big mistake with diets. We tell people, don't eat this, you can't have candy, you can't have this, you can't have that. Well, we're telling them you can't do this. Your body's getting these messages that you can't do anything. You get frustrated and then you want it. It's like a child. If you tell a child, don't touch this, they're going to want to touch it more because they've been told not to. So that's kind of our human nature. So I would say eat when you're hungry. There is a place, yes, for supplements and all, but just know that if your body doesn't need it, if it's not toxic, you're going to pee it out. So you're going to urinate it out. So sometimes you're wasting a lot of money on things. I would say anybody that wants to do supplements, anybody that wants to do those things, find a practitioner that's skilled in it, whether it be functional medicine. I've done some work in functional medicine, but I'm not an expert in that field. But I saw what was done when people tried to do things themselves or take supplements or buy things. Again, be very aware. Do your research, know what you're getting yourself into. Eat when you're hungry. And I think the most important thing is that emotionally you have to be satisfied. So you have to have a relationship with yourself. Sit quietly every morning before you get out of bed, or lie quietly in bed or at night, whatever your schedule is, and really just focus on nothing. Just focus on your breathing. That inner peace and calm is what helps to regulate our food cycle, because most of the time we do emotional eating. And when you look at a lot of the weight loss drugs, what they do is they target that emotional response. They get you not interested in food by blocking certain pathways going to the brain. Again, they have their place, but anybody taking weight loss injections, please know that you're on them for life. That's something that too many practitioners, and now that you could buy them online, people don't tell you that. Your provider may not tell you that. And if your insurance stops covering these drugs, which a lot of insurance companies down the road will, you're in for a lot of expense. So I'm not saying don't use these things. What I'm saying is go in very smart, know what you're getting yourself into, know the commitment that you're making, and then decide. I've had patients that have lost 150 pounds on their own, and they've done it simply through diet, exercise, being mindful. And it could be done. It's just that it's a slow journey. And a lot of times we don't want to take that time. We want something that promises us, oh, you could lose 10 pounds in a week. Well, no, you can't unless it's all water. And I'm not
Yes,
saying for
exactly.
people to be
So true.
discouraged, but a lot of weight loss is water. And sometimes the more weight you have to lose, initially, the faster it comes off because it's water. So I don't want people to be discouraged, but I want them to be realistic, because then when that weight loss slows down is where we run into a problem and we get discouraged and we don't want to continue. So be armed with all the facts. Know that if your weight loss is rapid, it's water weight. Yeah, it's got to come off, but understand that you don't give up everything else that you're doing. COVID, people had a lot of problems with weight loss because of the fear and anxiety that the world was in. I'll get into that. And then do we have a third section where I could talk a little bit about what cortisol and what everything does in the body and how it actually holds on to weight? So just know if you're in fight or flight and you're stressed, you're not going to lose weight because your body thinks that you're starving, and the body's going to hold on to every calorie, hold on to everything that it has. So we need to be aware of our emotions. We need to be aware of what we're putting in our body. And we need to be aware that if we deprive ourselves of something, regardless of how junky it may be, take a little bit, because your body's not going to rest and your brain's not going to rest until you get it, and you're going to sabotage yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Teresa. All right, Audrey.
Yeah,
What's next?
I know that we have a little bit of time here, and I know that Janice and Felicia also want to speak. So, the question was, what small dietary changes can we make?
Yeah, that's
As
been
I
a
was
big
saying
impact.
before, sometimes our nutrition, our food isn't the greatest. Like, I mean, you have to do your research. And I agree with you, Teresa. The medical pharmaceuticals, I wouldn't you touch them with a 10-foot pole. So, and I've gone to doctors. So my experience is going to a doctor for a year and him misdiagnosing me for a year on me having a bladder infection.
Wow.
And so there is a place for doctors, I believe, yes, in the diagnostic part of it. But as for my nutrition and my emotional health, I went through brain fog because I was undiagnosed with really delirium, which has been my brain. And that's a major brain fog. And so for me, what I went through was I took their medication. It did nothing. So what I did was I took essential oils. And being a nutritionist and an aromatherapist, I used frankincense, oregano, thyme, tea tree, and those, you guys kind of all know they're natural. They can't get much more natural than that. And then the other thing that I'm taking is a vitamin.
Yeah.
And this is what's vitamins, minerals, and greens. That's what it is. Vitamins, minerals, and greens. And it has 90 science-backed nutrients of vitamins, minerals, essential oils. It does have essential oils in there that help with the absorption. So that's one of the things I take is a vitamin. I just put it in water. I drink it every morning. That's how I get some of my vitamins, minerals, and greens, even though I eat out of my own garden.
Yeah.
I eat out of my own garden, right? So, yeah, I won't touch the pharmaceutical stuff. I go all natural.
And I love that you talked about the essential oils because they are essential to our health. They really are. So if there's anyone out there that has not tried some of the different essential oils, that is definitely one of those small, powerful changes that you can make. I mean, and there's some that are topical, some that are digestible. I mean, there's just so much. So definitely reach out.
Can I just mention a few of them? It's peppermint, lavender, rosemary, frankincense. Those are some of the ones that I use on a daily basis to help with mental clarity and cognitive function. And as I mentioned, you know, the oregano, the thyme, the tea tree. Yeah.
I'm writing them down too. So look, as one of my mentors says, okay, note takers are money makers. So I'm over here writing. So thank you, Audrey. So Janice, we're gonna go ahead and go to you. So I know you had kind of mentioned, you know, some of the glutathione and things like that. So let's talk about a little bit more about like one of the small, really powerful dietary changes that you made to make a really big impact on your health.
Just pure nutrition. And pure glutathione. Glutathione, the 3 amino acids. Actually, I can show you a bottle. I don't know if you, there. Nice. This one here, this is retail in Canada. And I'll tell you, if it wouldn't have been for that, in November of 2022, I would not be sitting in this chair today. Wow. And the reasoning for it is because I was stuck in the rut with the doctors with all the prescriptions. 900 milligrams of morphine a day.
Ooh, wow.
900 a day. Wow. Plus Percodan for breakthrough. That's what they were prescribing me for 32 years.
Wow.
And when I finally realized, and I noticed that bottle on TikTok, my brain went cha-ching. What am I doing? And it wasn't but a few months that I changed. And that was the only thing I started with. I started to reduce myself because, hey, somebody's got to listen to me because my doctors sure as hell aren't, right? Wow. They had me diagnosed with all kinds of nasty stuff.
Wow.
And it wasn't. It was fibromyalgia because they overcooked my muscles when I was in treatment, in hospital to lose weight, to mental clarity and stuff. It didn't do a darn thing to me, right? It's just a nonsense. It's money. And for me to become nutrition, I even fell into the vaccines. That's how brain dead I was back then. And I just fell for it. I took whatever they said. The next one's coming up. Oh, a flu shot. Oh, shingle shot. I'm full of toxin, and I still know that today because it's not going to be gone overnight. Right. But I tell you, this little red bottle right here, I swish 4 or 5 times a day. And for my mental clarity, I use Neuro, which is this one. And when I swish with this, it's like my head wants to do the typewriter thing. It's just, brrr, and if I don't write down the stuff fast enough before my next swish, it's like, oh my God. But the stuff with this in the nutrition part of it is it's not a pill form. Pills, unfortunately, do not dissolve, right?
Right.
We all know this. This stuff is liquid and it's water soluble. It's what they call it, hydrostat molecular encapsulation. And that means our nanoparticles that are so small, they're smaller than any particle out there, is 10 nanometers in size. They're encapsulated in water pockets. So when you put it in your mouth, it gets absorbed like now, gets through your blood, into your cells, because it's so small, instead of into your gut. And that is the key. And then you actually bring in my other friend I talked about, pure nutrition, and then you can incorporate your vegetables and whatnot, but you've got to clean that stuff. You've got to peel all that stuff. And when you're in your grocery stores, you've got to watch the numbers that they're labeled with.
Right.
Because if you don't, they're either sprayed or they're injected. And we all know it plays hell on our heads. And that's where all the toxins are coming from. And I would recommend people just, detox in the body. A good month of it, try to get as much out as you can, and then start incorporating the proper foods. But you got to start somewhere. And I'm telling you, I couldn't be happier that I started where I did, because it's what brought me to this today. And I hadn't worked for 32 years.
Wow. Wow. I'm so glad you found the something that works for you to help, because detoxing our body is key. So we're going to go to you, Felicia, because I know Felicia has to get out of here shortly. She's got an appointment to go to. So let's go ahead and go over to you, Felicia, real quick, and just share about your small, powerful dietary change that has been a big impact for your overall health. And then also, you're going to have to drop off. Please share with everyone so that they can connect with you and what you got going on as well. And then we'll go to the other ladies.
Oh, thanks. I guess I'd say one powerful change was going against pharmaceuticals. I mean, what we all know is that pharmaceuticals are actually made from these herbs and plants. That's where they came from. So to assume that pharmaceuticals are somehow better or superior is actually very, just not wise, because that's source. Source is those pharmaceuticals. But I do suggest doing it with a skilled professional and making sure that you're monitored appropriately, right? Never do anything by yourself. Or if you do, go by how you feel, pay attention to how you feel, because usually if something feels wrong, that means it is. Right. Your body is ultimately its most wise thing, right? Most of the time when we go to a doctor, they're trying to tell us how we feel, even though we came in telling them how we feel, and then it's a little bit of gaslighting and manipulation, because they're seeing patterns of, the people that they've been seeing. And so, women keep coming in here with this complaint. They just box you in. Oh, this must be what you must be dealing with too, because it sounds similar when it's not. Right. And I say that knowing that my mom, trusted her doctors, did everything they told her to do, and she died a young death and had no idea, what and how to wean off of all these different medications that they had her on, which was like over 30 different things at the time of her passing, so that's why, it's really passionate to me for people to go natural, because, those natural things are how pharmaceuticals became what they are, how it became something that they can make money from. So I'd say one powerful thing that someone can do is just change one small habit, and it's not, take this out, take that out. No, add in, right? Add in those green leafy vegetables, add in those fruits, add in, what feels easy for you to do right now. And naturally the bad stuff will just flow away on its own. And then when it comes to emotional eating, eat it, like Teresa was saying earlier. Yeah. Don't deprive yourself, because more than likely you're like a kid, you're very focused on getting that thing because you're being told you can't have it, but you give yourself unlimited reign to have it. Well, then you start really hopefully questioning how it makes you feel. So I'd say pay attention to how it makes you feel more than anything else. Are you still hungry afterwards after you ate that whole bag of hot Cheetos? Because that was my alias. Do you still feel full after that? Or are you hungry in the next half hour and you need something else, even though that whole bag was like 500 and some calories? And also, why are you eating it? Because sometimes I crave things just for the memories of those people that I enjoyed that meal with, or that particular snack with. And lastly, to reach out to me, I would say I actually have a Womb of Peace community where we help people, or women specifically, heal from hormone conditions, PCOS, essentially reversing hormone imbalance, and doing that all naturally with the food that they can go and pick up at the store or their local farmers market, garden, certified supplements that don't have, heavy metals and things like that in it, but nothing that we really make money from. It's all just suggestions that we have and that we've all either done ourselves or had client success with. So it's all really science-backed ways that we do it, in using ancient wisdom. And they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Felicia Pelto, weight loss hormone health coach. Or you can just apply to talk to me one-on-one at freeasafeather.com/apply and learn more about my 6-month hormonal harmony program.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Felicia.
So thank you guys for having me. Got to pop out, but enjoy the rest of the show.
Bye, Felicia.
Thank you. We'll see you soon, Felicia. All right, Teresa. So we are going to go ahead and just share with everyone how they can get in touch with you and what you have to offer for them as well, because you've got a few books and things like that out there too. So let's share.
I do. First off, I'd like to say there is a place for medical. I don't think this is a forum. Our audience is mixed. So I don't want people leaving thinking that medical care is something that they shouldn't have, that all doctors, that all providers are only there to tell them what to do, misdiagnosis. I think, there has to be an understanding because like everything else, there's a lot more that goes into every situation that sometimes we just don't know. So with that said, I think there's a place for everything, and I think it's up to the individuals to be able to decide that for themselves. And I don't think it's up to us. Me as a medical professional, I'm not pushing medicine on anybody. I'm not pushing anything on anybody because I think it's totally up to them. And that's really where I come from with helping people is I help people help themselves. And as a nurse, I connect people to their heart, which is their inner knowing, which is their intuition. I get people to process emotions first with their heart, connect their heart and their brain, get them on the same page, and for people to make their own decisions, for people to be self empowered, because that's the most important thing. And I think a lot of times we don't, especially when it comes to our health, we don't trust the decisions that we could make. We've got a lot of reliance on the outside, and some of it more has to come back to us. I'm not saying we could diagnose every problem we have, and there's a time and a place, whether it be traditional medical care, whether it be Ayurvedic, whether it be functional medicine, whether it be a combination. I think it's up to the individual themselves to decide that, to take from different things, because it's never either or, it's always and. You can have Ayurvedic and traditional medical care. You could have functional medicine and Ayurvedic, functional medicine and traditional. So I think I think we have a tendency sometimes to also limit ourselves, and people could get in touch with me. My website is www.wellbeinggal.com, all one word. I wrote a book called Heal Your Heart from Within, and that's basically connecting people to their heart for self empowerment so that people have the knowledge and the tools, and then they can choose themselves what they want to do with that knowledge and that tools. So that's kind of been my practice for over 30 some years of helping people be empowered to really partner with their healthcare, regardless of what kind of healthcare that is.
Awesome. Thanks, Teresa. Audrey.
Yeah, so you can get a hold of me. I mainly on WhatsApp. I do have a website that I'm creating. That is Audrey Link, Link. So name on the screen and Link at gmail.com. And my WhatsApp is 780-202-0649. I also agree with Teresa that, yeah, we need to make sure that we are making our informed decisions. And whether that is, going to a doctor or a professional, for sure, like a professional aromatherapist, a nutritionist, naturopath, whatever that is, right? Is making sure that that person knows what they're doing.
Right.
Make sure that they know, kind of help you along the journey, not necessarily make sure that, oh, you have to take this or this is going to happen kind of thing. Exactly. So it's just helping them along with their journey.
Awesome. Thanks, Audrey.
Nice.
Janice, how can they connect with you?
Well, they can connect with me. My name is Janice Riggett. Every account I have on every platform there is, it's Janice Riggett. You'll see me in a hat or with glasses like this.
Sorry, ladies.
I am the advocate for the people that have been vaxxed, people that have been on, let's say, opioid medication, because there is so many questions out there about the people that have myocarditis, or they have this, that, or the other, or the medication that they're on. And I do apologize. I guess I shouldn't have said the medical terms, but there is a lot of issues that we are dealing with. And I hear you, Teresa. I solely love what you're saying, but unfortunately, we're not all built the same, nor have we gone down the same path. I myself want to connect with people that are struggling, that can't see the road ahead of them, and that would like to actually try to clean it up, as like I did. I'm not out of the woods. By no means am I out of the woods, but I am continuing my trail, let's say, and I'm leaving crumbs behind me for people to follow me, because what I'm doing, it can't even be utilized in our animals.
That's right.
You know, we all have glutathione. We all need to detox. We all need to eat proper. And I'm into a few different businesses, and it's one big happy family, and I couldn't be happier. So if you want to connect, my number is 1-403-821-3812. I'm in Alberta, Canada, and I'd be more than happy to connect with anyone.
That's awesome. Very good. Very good. Well, look, everybody, this is part of our Phoenix Fitness Fanatics team here. Powerful, powerful, powerful men and women in this team. If you want to just be educated on how to balance your mind, body, and spirit, how to get physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially fit, and if you're looking to connect with that person that is going to help to get you on the other side of things, because we have just a plethora of coaches, trainers, professionals. I mean, all of these wonderful individuals here that can help you to just get better. So if you want to connect, first off, I want you to subscribe so you can see all their articles and all their amazing things that they have to say every month. You go to Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Mag 2021.com and you can get your subscription there. If you are a professional out there and you're looking for a space where you want to show up and shine and share the things that you're doing in health and wellness and fitness in all areas, definitely connect with us. Connect with these ladies. Ladies, I want to just thank you so much for coming and joining me and sharing your knowledge and wisdom today. So everybody, happy Mental Monday. Have an amazing week ahead, and we'll definitely see you next time. Take care, everybody.